Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. We've got a lot going on. I've got licensing staff here in the Division of Child Care today in central office, so I was following up on some items. I know there are folks still coming into the call, so we'll give them just a minute or two and then we'll get the agenda underway. All right, welcome everyone to today's call. We have some guest speakers today, so I'm going to start with them. I see that they're both on the call. Mary Line, if you will get us started, and then Angie will go after you. And again, this is just our continuing hearing from providers about how they've used COVID relief funding, American Rescue Plan Act funding. So Mary, would love to hear some of the things that you are doing at your facility.
Thank you. So several of the things, I spent 20 years almost of my career center-based, and I've been the last 13 years doing family child care homes. So it's been a learning curve for me. But some of the things that I kind of carried over that I didn't have the funds to do originally, that this has afforded me the opportunity to do, is to update my technology system. So I was able to purchase an iPad and ProCare for signing in and out, and a new computer to do all of my food program paperwork online. I was able to purchase a Ring camera and some Ring security lights for the front and the back that give me access of my property most of the time, so that I can see all the spaces. I purchased a couple of keypad entries for my childcare door and for my front door that affords me 20 codes, which I only have 10 families. So I can give each family their own individual code to come in and out. The doors are locked all the time from the outside, but unlocked all the time from the inside. So if a child needs to open the door, it will open. I purchased a sunshade for my patio that is retractable. So during the morning when it's not sunny over on that side of the house, it can stay in, and then in the afternoon when it gets warm, I can roll that out. I also put in a new fence around my property. 2 sides of my fence are wrought iron because they're shared with other properties, but the other 2 sides are hardwood. So I installed new fences and I had them stained and sealed for longevity. I purchased an AED, which was something that was really important to me. I recently had been taking care of my aging mother. And so that was something that after she passed, I thought, it's really important that we have one in our community, and my neighborhood is pretty tight knit and a lot of older generation live in my neighborhood. So I thought I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. My kiddos have it here on site. We had them in the school district when I worked there, but it was something that was never in my budget to do. I also purchased a fire suppression system, and I know this is a hot topic for a lot of homes because it was a almost mandatory thing. But when I was a kid, my house burnt down, not from cooking in the kitchen, but I just thought, this is one extra thing I can do to add another bit of security to my home. And for me, it was, I know there's extra fees that come with it for years to come. You have to have it inspected every year, twice a year. You have to pay for those things, and you have to pay for the upkeep and the maintenance. But that was something that this afforded me to do on the front end so I can budget on the back end in my yearly budget to accommodate for those things. I committed to some long-term plans for myself, an IRA. I started an IRA with the funds, and I committed to monthly payments from my fees and my stuff to go into an IRA for myself, which is not something that a lot of homes do. I had a retirement system with the school district when I worked there and when I was at the college, but I did not carry that forward when I became home and I'm self-employed. So that was something that it afforded me to do. And then an HSA, which is a health savings plan, because you just can't predict. And I may only get to put $100 a month in it, but that's something that I committed to budgeting for once I was able to get it started and put that into my yearly budget. I also had been in the middle of a remodel. And so some of the things that I decided I wanted to do that were childcare specific, I was building a bathroom anyway for my classroom. But what I was able to do was then to pay for some cinder block to go into those walls so that I could create a safe room that also has a door to the exterior of my patio for the kids to be able to utilize that bathroom from when we're outside without going back into the classroom or the house. And it's got a metal door on it, so it will be secure for a safe room. That was something I would not have been able to do. And then I was able to customize the vanity for 2 sinks with hands-free faucets. So they can just go in and wash without having to touch anything. And then I also had locks put on the vanity so that I can store things underneath. And it's just 2 doors on each side under each sink with locks on it so that I can store things under there that the kids can't get access to. And then I set aside money for professional development and family engagement so that I could start expanding what I was already doing with my families, but also sending myself and my husband, who comes in and cooks lunch for me. He works full time, but he takes his lunch break and comes home and cooks for our kiddos, so that we could go to the NAFCC conference. I've been the last 2 years with a couple girls from the area, and I have been able to budget to continue that. So that I can continue to go to a national conference every year. I used to go to NAEYC or SECO when I was center-based, but this affords me to have the opportunity to go to the National Association for Family Childcare National Conference every year, which gives me new ideas and helps me collaborate with other family childcare providers in other states.
Wow, Mary, that's a lot. That is a lot. So I hope those of you listening, those are some incredibly important safety and fun things, but just thank you so much for sharing. And I hope some of you who are on here hearing some of these things, and I know some of those were sacrifices that are long-term, but you hear Mary's commitment and passion for making sure that her children are cared for, her families are engaged, but that she also has community efforts in part of her work. So it's just really incredible. And thanks so much for sharing. Angie Neal is next. So I'm going to let you share what you've been doing, Angie.
Okay. I'm going to put up a little slide too, so you can see it, hopefully. See if it'll bring it up. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Okay, then maybe I'll just talk. All right. So some of the things I've done with the funding is, one thing that was really important to me is we had a big demand for infants and toddlers. And while I had 1 infant space and a toddler space, I was able to open another baby room and staff it. So now we have a bigger baby population. Another thing I did, just like Mary, is I needed some fence. So we privacy fenced our schoolyard on a couple of sides. And then I acquired some property across the street. So we privacy fenced it too, mostly for safety. There was a pond past the fence that was in the neighbor property. Another thing that I did that I felt like was real important, I have some long-term employees. So while I do have some some hire on bonus money, I wanted some retention bonus money. So I've been able to give them some retention bonus 2 years straight. And it really helps them feel like they're valued for staying with our organization. I was able to go through and replace all of the fluorescent lighting with LED lighting. It's much softer. It looks cleaner and fresher in our little school. Another thing, we are a nature school, and so we spent some money on nature learning. I bought a few aeroponic tower gardens. So the children, we already had raised beds in a big garden, and we added to our aeroponic garden collection because we can garden year round. So they can go inside with it, with their lights, the grow lights, and keep having food, fresh food year round. We bought a big teepee. It's like 22 foot wide, set it up on our space. So we have an extra outdoor space to nap in, to have storytelling in, or just imaginative play. I've developed a nature center across the road too. So we added a few loads, about $1,000 worth of dirt. They call it Coyote Mountain. So they have their dump trucks and shovels out there learning in nature. I did a little, I'm in it now, a container, and I didn't necessarily use the funds for that, but it's set up as a parent center. So we added some things out front, a fire pit, some seating, and other things. So when we have our family nights here, the children are cared for by our staff, and then we teach conscious discipline concepts and some nutrition concepts on our space. And that's about all I have to share right now about our funding money. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Those are equally impressive. If you and Mary will put your program name and where you are so people can see where you're located, I think that would be helpful. Please read the comments. People are putting some really nice comments, and I want you all to see because they're really to both of you for all the work that you're doing. So make sure you read that.
If anyone's interested in any resources I talked about, I did make a PowerPoint and I'll share it somehow. Just let me know if you're interested.
All right, great. We have several things today that have come up over the past couple of weeks, so just bear with us. I think Mashana Smith, who works in our Division of Children and Families here at DHS, is going to talk a little bit about foster children photos in early care and education settings. So Mashana, if you're on, hand it to you.
Hi, good morning. As she stated, my name is Mashana Smith. I apologize. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm out of the office today. But my name is Mashana Smith, and I am the foster care manager for the state of Arkansas. My unit handles child care vouchers for children who are both in welfare custody as well as children who are in the home, and the agency is just providing a little extra assistance. A couple of weeks ago, I had a provider reach out with some questions about if foster children could be photographed. And then there was a question of, we were told like their faces had to be blurred or they had to be photographed from the back. We 100% want our kids, from an inclusivity standpoint, to definitely be included in those photos. They can be included, they can be taken pictured, or you can photograph them. They just cannot be identified as a quote foster child. They can be photographed and participate in any other activities as any other child. We actually prefer it that way. So I definitely wanted to make sure that that messaging was clear. And then also, while we have you guys here, if you guys need any assistance from DCFS staff, making sure that childcare vouchers are being keyed timely, or you have some children in your center that you don't have like lines for, you can't bill for them, please don't hesitate to reach out to my unit or myself. We will definitely make sure that we get with our local teams to make sure that those vouchers are keyed, because we do value the relationships with you guys. We're all separate entities, but we are all working with the same goal and same mission, is to protect and make sure that our kids are receiving the best care and the best education that's possible. So we definitely, from the agency standpoint, appreciate you guys. And if there's anything that we can do to ensure that, you know, you guys are receiving the funding for our children that are attending your facility, we definitely want to make sure that we are taking care of that in a timely manner.
Thank you, Mashana, so much. And just shout out to my DCFS colleagues. You know, we do a lot of hard work in early childhood, but my colleagues, they work really, really hard and deal with some very difficult situations. So just hats off to them. And thanks so much, Mashana. I can just feel your spirit. I hope you feel better. And thank you for getting on. We would have given you a grace day today if you'd needed it, but thank you so much for hopping on. If you have questions for Mashana, please put them in. And if she has to get off, we'll make sure she gets it and we'll address it in our next call or get it to you. So
I'll put my contact information in the chat below.
super.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. And we are going to move now to Robin Cottle Jones. Robin, if you're on, we're going to hand the mic to you.
Hey, thanks. That was so fascinating. I loved hearing everything. Hard acts to follow for sure. Hi, I'm Robin Jones, and I am the program manager over Arkansas Resource Connections page. So I'm going to talk to you about it for a moment, and I'm going to share my screen, Tanya, if that's good with you. Can you guys see that? The PowerPoint?
We
Yeah.
can.
Okay, good, thanks. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been overseeing for a moment. I am up in Northwest Arkansas, and I have am overseeing a resource called the Arkansas Resource Connections, and it's a site. So I'll go ahead and read this little spiel for you. The Arkansas Resource Connection is free, and it's a comprehensive online resource for early childhood providers and professionals. There's over 2,500 resources, and that is Arkansas resources and like a curated amount of national resources. And we have worked together with agencies across the state to really have a nice collection for you, for it to be like a one-stop shop, if you can imagine. So I will send this over there in just a minute. So when you become a member, and when I say member, again, it's free. You'll fill out and you'll go to the website and you'll fill out just a couple of questions, and that will send you on your way to become a member. I promise it's not something that is gonna, you don't have to renew or anything like that. It's just to make sure that you're Arkansan and that these resources are appropriate for you. So you'll get access to, there's infant toddler resources, curriculum tools, there's lots of family engagement resources, a lot of program management, training and resource information, early learning standards in Arkansas, and then there's inclusion resources, literacy tools, guides. One of my favorite is there's all kinds of free forms, templates, schedules, and reports. So if you're thinking about, you know, like, where do I begin on something? We probably have it on the site. So we are going to go over to the site real quick so that you have an idea of what that looks like. Okay, so when you come to the site, this is what you will see once you become a member. And so it does have these headers, and that's kind of your navigation tool. But in the, you'll also see in this front page that there are all kinds of resources and ways to navigate. And usually there's some trending topics, like right now, You'll find Fun in the Sun, which is all about safety in the sun, as Mary was talking about, coverage and all that good stuff. I'm going to explore this real quick. I'm sorry, this is just the best way for us to go through the website to kind of get an idea of what it offers. You'll be able, of course, to explore it on your own because it is so very comprehensive. So there is a section. So these, the engaging families in the classroom, saving money, and successful program management, this is all curated by a national group. And there are, I want to say, over 25 states that have this kind of format. So it's not only just Arkansas, but it's a collection, a steering committee of people throughout the nation in this field that are putting this information together. But also we have a tab that's for Arkansas specifically. And so within that, you will find information that we have collected through the agencies that we offer for free in Arkansas through the division and other programs. So let's click on family engagement, and you can see to this left-hand side, there's all kinds of information that you might be able to find if you're looking here and there, or again, we're hoping this is one-stop shop and you can find the information on here and it will take you to the site that you need to go to. So let's take, for instance, Tips for Great Kids. You'll be able to go here and it'll take you to their site eventually.
Hi, Robin. I sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you know that we're just still seeing like the main homepage, so it's not actually clicking with what you're showing us.
Oh, thank you for telling me. I have no idea. Let me see. So when I click here, it doesn't send you to Arkansas?
No, we're still seeing that side that says exploration of AR resource connections and has those headers on it.
Has you on the PowerPoint still? Let me
I believe that's where we're at. Yeah.
Sorry, technology is not always my friend. Yeah, we'll just, can you see it now?
We are seeing your lovely face right now, but not the screen.
Okay, let's try this. How's that?
There we go. Now we've got it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pop off then the PowerPoint, and maybe Tanya, I can send it to you and you can share it or some things. It does have some of the links that are important. So I'm so sorry. So back to, here are the headings. Here's the tab for Arkansas. And then from there, you'll find the resources that we have listed or that I talked about before with agencies. And these are just subheadings. So once you click in onto one of these, and again, we'll go to family engagement. And then you'll find on Tips for Great Kids. And so the information is, some of it is embedded, and then also it will take you to the resource directly. And so since I've already clicked on it, it's already here, if that makes sense. And like I said, within each of these, there's a lot of information. And so then if we go to, let's, for instance, this, these other four tabs are curated by the national organization. And so that information is not going to be Arkansas specific necessarily, but also very useful, of course. So for instance, if we go to engaging families and you head down to, again, all of the information. And if we navigate to safety, you can see it again, it's very comprehensive, all of the things that, all the resources that you can pull from everything from this pool and water safety, which is very important, to discussing child abuse and neglect and those kind of resources. And then here is the sun safety that we mentioned before. Sunscreen, not sunscreen. Okay, and then we'll move over to in the classroom. And I'm not going to go over through everything, but I do want you to see all of the amount of information that's on here. That's really lovely. These are just very simple templates. And so if I go to classroom labels, you'll see, this is oftentimes people have these. So not only does it give you a template that's like, hey, you could use these, but also gives it to you where you could possibly make your own. So maybe that's something that you might find useful. So that's, again, so much is in this particular section in the classroom that is very comprehensive, obviously, with the amount of information in this. Okay. And this tab is called Saving Money tab. And this organization that we've collaborated with has put together all kinds of discounts, which everyone loves. So you can navigate here and it will go into your savings portal. And it gives you all of the kind of organizations and companies that they've worked with to supply discounts for members of our site. So before you, for instance, order from Discount School Supplies, you might toss over here and see that you can get 20% off. And it gives you a code for that. Sorry, it's right there. Okay. And last but not least is successful program management. And I will say, for the people who are family child care providers and directors, this site is pretty heavy on resources for you. So there's a whole family child care toolkit. There's an HR section. If we go to the toolkit, again, you can find lots of information from marketing to engagement. So if you're feeling like you need some fresh ideas, you might find them on there. Okay, well, so I am going to see if I can go back to my PowerPoint and just talk to you about how you become a member of the site. It's very easy. You just go to the site and fill out a bit of information, kind of what county you're in, all the things that we typically ask you. Nothing very heavy. And then you'll get an email confirmation that says, hey, you're welcome to the site. And then once you do that, you have to log back in with your new password and all of that. And if you have any issues, I'm here to help you if you need help on that. That is an overview, a very, very quick overview of everything. I did want to go over to this, to the tools. There's forms, policies, and templates. Again, I do love this section, where if you're finding that you're really needing some HR information, there is, for instance, job descriptions. If you're having trouble figuring out how you want to have the description of that particular job. It's in English and in Spanish. So if we go to teacher, excuse me a second, you can make it your own. So it's a template to kind of just get you started. So that way you can, of course, make it your own, but sometimes you just need a little foundation, just need a little help. Anyway, I do love this section. And that's about it for the resource connections page. We so far people are really loving it just because, again, it is one stop. It's everything in one place. And there's also I don't think I showed you, but there's also a search bar. So not another presentation that I did, people were interested in finding out what kind of resources were on here about lice. And guess what? There's lots. Not only from the national portion of the site, to, you know, how to have a conversation with families, but also from our own, our Kansan group with tips. And that is this resource we're talking about head lice. So it is all the nitty gritty. It's the program management. It's also head lice. It's also making labels for your classroom. It's everything you could possibly need. And if it's not on here, tell me and we'll figure out how to get it on there for sure. But that's it, Tanya, unless anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Robin, so much. I hope that was helpful information. That's a great resource for you all. Denise has dropped in the link to fill out to be a member. So just make sure you're reading in the chat box. I also want to point out, Mashana put in her contact information for DCFS, and she also added that you can report child abuse, neglect online. So, and she added that mandated reporter site. That's a new feature. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that, because that's a great benefit for early care and education. I think next we have an update and exciting news from our background check team. Kayla Bodie, we'll hand it to you.
Good afternoon. So we're really excited to announce that you no longer have to get your consent forms for background checks notarized. Yeah, yay, round of applause. We're really excited about that. It's going to hopefully expedite the process for all of you, avoid having to leave your facility if you are having to do that to go and get notarized. And on our end, it's going to cut down tremendously on the amount of errors so that we can process those quicker for you. You don't need to do anything on your end. The same link, it's automatically been updated. And so when if you've done a background check today or yesterday, you've probably already seen it, you will only get 2 pages. It will just be the demographic information and then a signature and date. And that is it. So if you have any questions or if you have any issues getting that consent form done, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box. You can reach out to me anytime, but that's my exciting update.
Kayla, there's a question in the chat box.
So right now it is only for the criminal background check request. The child maltreatment still does require notarization. We will keep you updated if for any reason, there isn't something that goes out. If the central registry does update and make that change, we'll make sure and keep everyone updated. But right now it's only for the criminal.
Thanks, Kayla. Hopefully that helped everyone. It's real exciting, and there may be additional changes. So just stay tuned. We'll keep you informed on this call. I'm going to switch gears for just a second and go to 2 items that are not on the agenda, but I made sure staff knew I was going to be presenting on. So these are items that have come up over the past few weeks, and I just wanted to cover them while we're on the call. The first one is, I've had a few calls about serving children who are 5 years old with our child care development block grant, our child care assistance vouchers. If a child turns 5 on or before August 1st, which is the school entry date for Arkansas, they are eligible for public school, and we cannot pay for a full-time subsidy on that child. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I think most people do, but I've had a few questions about it. And so if you're submitting a voucher for a child that's 5 that maybe didn't meet that cutoff, you know, just if you're not getting the voucher, make sure you reach out and say, hey, check the birth date on this one. I think we had one that did have a birth date after the August 1st, but staff got confused. So just know sometimes people get confused about that. But if the child turns 5 on or before August 1, they're not eligible for a full-time voucher. But if they do not turn 5 on or before and are still in that early childhood space before school, then we will cover them. The second is a topic I really don't want to have to cover, but it's come up a lot in the past couple of weeks, medical marijuana. So I'll say this the way I talk to my licensing staff. People have been smoking marijuana in the state long before medical marijuana was approved. And here's how we look at it. If we get a report that someone in your facility, a licensed facility or home, is smoking marijuana, we will have staff come out and send that person for testing. If they test positive and they are direct caregivers for children, they will be asked to be removed. So please read your licensing regulations with regard to this. It is covered. And a medical marijuana card does not matter in that case because children are vulnerable and we have to take good care of them. So I've had some people ask, you know, can we have policies? I would advise you to seek counsel. You know, if you have a friend, a colleague, a family member, or somebody that's an attorney, or maybe looking at some of the resources that Robin just shared, there may be some guidance there. It is still a federal law and a federal violation. So, you know, how you craft your policy is something that you may want to consult with legal on, an attorney or someone as a representative. I'm not going to advise you. You can determine that yourself. All of you can have your own policy, whatever that may be. I just want you to know we can't ask people when I'm hiring if they have a medical marijuana card, but our place is a drug-free workplace. And if someone starts exhibiting behaviors or suspicious behaviors, we will send them for drug testing and send them home. We receive federal money here, and for that reason, we're not allowed, we cannot have an employee who has a medical marijuana card or any kind of influence, under any type of influence, substance use influence. So, you know, you all will have to work through that yourselves. You may have a colleague that has a policy. You could have a drug-free work policy. For our licensing regs, it is direct caregivers. It is very specific, and it's in there as individuals who are providing direct care to children. So if you want it to be all of your staff, that may be a policy that you want to put into place. You know, again, we are not going to get involved unless we get a report or a concern about that. There may be some information in the child care development participant agreement as we go forward, since that is federal money. But it will be very specific in there, and you guys will want to pay attention to that because we have to adhere to whatever requirements they have. But I've had it coming up and a lot of people asking, and I would advise you that, you know, I don't think you need to be asking people if they have a card. It is a medical and a HIPAA violation potentially for you, but you may want to just let people know that you do have a drug-free workplace, or that there are licensing regulations that prohibit individuals directly caring for children to be under the influence, not just of marijuana, but any other substance. So, you know, if there's specific questions, you know, please send it to your licensing staff, and we will try to assist in any way that we can. But I just wanted to cover it and make sure. I know Tom and them have sent out some information to a few networking partners to make sure they have that, but wanted to cover that today. Want to talk just for a second about LEARNS, the new the Education Act that was passed during legislative session that will be creating the Office of Early Childhood at the Department of Ed, in which my whole division will be moving. under and into, except for placement residential licensing. There's a lot happening and it is very fast. So there were, I think, about 1,300 applicants for different work groups. And remember, the bill is 145 pages and about 6 to 8 pages are early learning, early childhood specific. So most of the bill is about K-12. And so those work groups, the 1,300 individuals, are primarily for the other work groups, but 166 individuals applied for early learning specifically. I'm working with the Office of Early Childhood staff. So Part B, Part C, ABC, and staff in the division to review that list. And we'll be working with the Department of Education as we select people to be representative of that group and make announcements. Those will probably be, you know, later in May or in June. There are some work groups that are happening more quickly related to parents and family choice with regard to vouchers and public education. That's very separate from the work that we're doing. But ours will probably be a little bit later, but I'll be working with the Department of Ed and our team as we select those individuals. If you're not selected to be a part of the work group, you might be selected to be a secondary review for some of the work. So just stand by. We want to have feedback from a lot of people, but it's obviously we can't have 166 people on the work group. That would not probably get us very far down the road. So I apologize, but we're going to have to make it to where we can manage that and really have good people that represent people around the state and all the different groups that are important to the work that we do. I guess the other update, you know, we will continue to do the work from here. We will update you as changes occur. We'll let you know that there are many teams internally meeting, finance, IT, criminal background checks. And just a note to those of you who are interested, we are working with the Department of Ed. It's not something that will happen quickly or immediately, but we are working hopefully to a process that for those individuals who work in public schools that are currently having to get 2 background checks, to try to get down to 1. But just know that is that is partly an FBI issue and a federal thing that we're trying to work through, as well as other parts of that criminal background check transfer. So that team is working and meeting and working through the process. Our finance folks our personnel will be doing an orientation with the Department of Ed next week. We will be doing some internal work groups. I want to give a shout out to a colleague that's on today, and it's her first time, I think, to be on our Zoom call, but Nasha Patel works with an organization that is working in an advisory and supportive way to the Department of Education, as well as to specifically to this Office of Early Childhood Education. And Nasha is a colleague from Louisiana who worked in their Department of Ed when they were doing a similar transition. And I just want to shout out to her. She's going to be on this call. At some point, she and her team members may speak and share information, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew she's joining us today, and there will be more colleagues. We will start to get focused on that on this call. We will start to see more. We'll have a PowerPoint slide or information, and we'll be giving updates about LEARNS Act, what's happening, what's the latest information on every call as we go forward. And I just want to make sure you guys knew that as we transition into the implementation of the LEARNS Act. So I am going to share. Oh yes. Oh my gosh, Keeler sent me an IM, and we forgot the most important people on this call. Our outstanding early childhood professionals. Becky, if you could put that slide up, because the slide is so cool. Just a shout out. She's going back to the PowerPoint for a minute, but we honored 2 individuals this year for outstanding early childhood professionals. And I just want to say, Shaylin Lane, and I don't know if Shaylin is on today, but she presented last month, which is kind of exciting because you got to meet her, and she has a family child care home up in Northeast Arkansas and had done some amazing things with some of the ARPA money and shared that. So Shaylin, and then Shanita Shepard works for UAMS Head Start. And so we just wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out on the call today. Kelly Hilburn and I think Paige took an award out to both of these winners. And so congratulations to both of them. I love this PowerPoint. Becky, thank you for putting that little baby in there doing the dance. It's really a fun thing to see. It's making me smile today. And then last, I want to give the mic over to Jamie Ward. In the last few minutes, Jamie's going to share something that she is working with and on through Excel by 8. So Jamie, I'm going to hand it to you and then we'll close out.
All right, thanks, Tanya. Thanks for letting me come on with an invitation to all of the both family child care and center-based providers. So I'm here on behalf of Excel by 8 Foundations, which is a group that works on policy and practice for children birth to age 8. But the policy arm of Excel by 8 is really focused on prenatal to age 3. And so over the rest of this year, 23, we've been working for the past 3 years and have worked on some pretty specific things. We're in a planning phase again now, and are holding some focus groups, which is where I want to offer an invitation. We are working to plan for 24, 25, and 26 and what the Excel by 8 policy agenda might look like for those years. So we're holding focus groups in the month of May. We'll do one in the first week of June, but we have one scheduled on May 17th. I'm going to share right quick a super simple slide here. With the QR code, and if you click on the code, you can enter some to register for the session for the focus group again, May 17th, 12 to 1:30. All participants who are able to, fully participate in the full length of the focus group will get a $50 gift card. We've got an expert facilitator who will be on and walking us through the questions. And really the purpose of the focus group is to gather input on just your wants and needs as they relate to your business, to your program center, your home, to inform the development of the Excel by 8 Foundation's policy agenda. So there's that QR code. And I am also going to drop in the chat my email and a link to a form that will take you to the exact place that QR code would have taken you, so that you can register. And we hope to see you on the 17th. Thank you.
Jamie, I see a note from someone, and this may take care of it, but she does not have, she said her camera doesn't work for QR code. So any suggestions? Is the link going to help?
That
Okay.
link in the chat,
Okay.
you should be able to click and it'll go straight to the form. And we're just asking some very basic information. Name, we needed a mailing address to be able to send a gift card, email address, and just a couple other questions. Shouldn't take 2 minutes to complete. So we hope to have you there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Our next call is on June 6th. I think the wrong date is, it's updated. I think I had an old slide. June 6th at 12. So we'll see you then. If you need anything in the meantime, you know how to reach, I think, most of us. If you can't find a way to reach me, you can reach out to your licensing staff. They will be able to do that. Just to let you guys know, the licensing staff are in central office today for training. So nobody should be coming into your facility for the Division of Child Care to do a licensing monitoring visit today or tomorrow. And just for all of you who know Don Jeffrey, I just feel the need to put this out. Don's husband, Alan, was in a horrible car accident last Friday and is in ICU here in Little Rock. He is doing, as well as can be expected after a horrible car accident. He has a lot of healing to do. We're hoping to get him out of ICU within the next day or two. I understand he was up yesterday with a back brace. He has a crushed vertebra and a number of broken ribs and probably a lot of other injuries, but he's very lucky to be alive. But be thinking about Dawn. This has been a very difficult time for her, and I know she'd like to be on the call today with you all as well, but just be thinking about her and her family. Everybody have a safe rest of the week, and remember, it is summer. Pay attention to the temperature with both transportation as well as sunscreen, and keeping those kids in the shade if possible, and hydrated. So anyway, everybody have a great week. See you next month. Bye.